What's up everyone, this is Dave from Econ Crew, and today I'm addressing one of the most common questions that non-American Amazon sellers get, and that is, how the heck, as a non-American, do you sell in America? So in this video, we'll cover what you need to do as a non-American to start selling on Amazon.com in America. A lot of our audience are actually non-Americans, and believe it or not, I'm not American myself. I'm based in Vancouver, Canada, and I've been selling on Amazon.com for years now. Now, a lot of people, when they're first getting started, are a little bit intimidated about what they need to do to start selling in America. Do you need to open an American LLC? Do you need to pay American income tax? And different questions of this variety. So let's take a look at these questions here throughout this video. Before we get into the nitty-gritty here, let me debunk some of the most common misconceptions about selling in America. The first misconception is that you need an American LLC to start selling in America. This isn't true, and in fact, my company has never had an American LLC. As a foreign company, you can ship your products into America and have them fulfilled from American warehouses without any problem. You don't actually need to get an American LLC. The second myth is that you're going to need an EIN or WEIN to be able to import into the United States. Well, let's be clear about a couple things. First off, for shipments below $2,500, you don't really need to worry about this because this can be imported under what they call an informal shipment. As a non-American though, and if you are importing more than $2,500, you can get what America calls a non-resident importer ID. And this is basically the same thing as an EIN for you to import into America. The third misconception that I want to talk about is around income tax in the United States. Now I have to be careful here, we're not accountants, but Canada and the United States and the UK and the United States and many countries in the United States have tax treaties which may make you exempt from paying income tax in America, at least on the federal level. Now, this is a very complicated topic, especially when it comes to sales tax and state income tax, but on a federal level, you may be exempt because of tax treaties. Again, talk to an accountant, but just be aware that you probably will not need to pay federal income tax, depending what country you're from. All right, now that we addressed those misconceptions, let's talk about the hard part in actually shipping your goods into America and shipping it to wherever it is that they're going, whether it's a 3PL or Amazon FBA. So if you're shipping into Amazon FBA, and probably most of you want to do that, the most important thing that you need to do is to ensure that all duties and taxes are paid before they arrive at Amazon. If Amazon has to pay even a dime in duties or taxes, what they're going to do is reject your shipment and send it right back to where it came from. Now, if your shipment's over $2,500, you're going to have to work with a customs broker to help you pay those duties. We'll link up to some customs brokers down below, but just know that if your shipments are more than $2,500, you're going to have to work with a customs broker. Now, if your shipment is under $800, America has this fantastic thing called an $800 de minimis value. What does that mean? That means that if your shipments are below $800, you don't actually have to pay any duties. It's amazing. I'm not making this up. Anything under $800, you don't have to pay any duties for when you're shipping into America. What's the catch? None. It's really that good. Now, when the declared value is somewhere between $800 and $2,500, it means that you do not need to make a formal entry, but you still do have to pay duties. What this means is that it's a little bit easier and cheaper to clear your shipments into America. You probably are still going to want to work with a customs broker, or at least have one on speed dial in case you need them. But $800 to $2,500 is going to be a little bit less in paperwork. Now, no matter how you're shipping your goods and what value of them is, be aware of two very important words: importer of record and consignee. Now, what the heck is an importer of record? Well, the importer of record, or IOR, is simply the person who accepts legal responsibility for ensuring that your products have had all the duty paid for them. This is an important distinction because even though you might ship your products into America and pay some duties right then and there, that's actually an estimate of the duties that you're going to pay. US Customs can actually go back at the importer of record for years down the road if they determine that goods have been misclassified and they haven't had the appropriate amount of duty paid. So whoever the importer of record is, and it's almost certainly going to be you, is a very important legal consideration. And what does that mean? That means that Amazon FBA or Amazon is in no way ever going to be the importer of record for your goods. They're not going to accept legal responsibility for you properly declaring the duties on your goods. Now, the other technical word is what's called the ultimate consignee. The ultimate consignee is simply the person who's taken possession of your goods, and this is going to be Amazon if you're shipping into Amazon FBA. Amazon FBA is perfectly happy to be the ultimate consignee, and if you need to get their consignee information, specifically their EIN, they're actually happy to give it to you. You just need to open up a case in your Seller Central case log. All right, now let's talk about some legal considerations of being a non-American selling into America. The first question is about taxes. Now, a lot of people get a couple different facets of taxes mixed up. Specifically, the differences between income tax on a federal level, state income tax, and sales tax. First things first, when it comes to sales tax, Amazon now collects sales tax in most states. That doesn't mean that you don't necessarily have to pay tax in certain states, but Amazon does take care of it for a lot of states. It's a very complicated subject. We'll link up to some stats and information down below. The next one is state income tax. Now, depending on where you're storing your goods, those states may be a little bit aggressive and expect you to pay state income tax, depending on what state it is that you're storing your goods. Again, another complicated topic. We'll link up to some articles below. Now, on a federal income tax level, that is the money that the IRS expects you to pay to them, in most countries, there are actually what are called tax treaties. For example, Canada and the United States has a tax treaty, which basically means that you pay federal income tax to one country or the other, but normally not both of them. Again, I'm not an accountant here, so I want to be very careful what I say, but you will typically not pay federal income tax to two countries. You only pay it to the country that you're working in or to America, one or the other, but not both of them. Finally, let's talk about bank accounts and currency exchange. So when you're selling in America, you're going to be getting revenue in US dollars. Now, many of you watching probably have US dollar bank accounts in whatever country it is that you're in. For example, in Canada, I have a couple different US dollar bank accounts. Unfortunately, having a US dollar bank account doesn't mean that you can actually withdraw US dollars into that bank account. To withdraw US dollars into a bank account, that bank account physically needs to be based in America. A Canadian bank account in US dollars, unfortunately, does not suffice. And why does that matter? It matters because likely you're paying your suppliers based in China and elsewhere in US dollars. And what you don't want to do is exchange your money from US dollars into Canadian dollars and back into US dollars, because that's going to incur a currency exchange fee each time you do it, and you're going to get your money quickly eaten away in exchange fees. So if you do want to withdraw money from Amazon.com in US dollars, you're going to need to get a US dollar bank account. Now, some banks actually can set you up with getting a US based bank account. For example, in Canada, I have a TD bank account in Canada, and they also have a subsidiary in the US where I can actually open up a physical US based bank account. Now, it's a pretty dense topic, but just remember, you can't withdraw US dollars into your US dollar bank account in a foreign country. However, Amazon can exchange that money for you into your local currency. Again, though, if you're paying suppliers in US dollars, such as in China, you probably don't want to be exchanging money back and forth into multiple currencies too often. All right, guys, hopefully that answered a lot of the questions that you have about selling in America as a non-American. Like I mentioned in the intro, I'm a Canadian and I've been selling in America for years upon years. And selling in America is actually one of the easiest foreign countries to sell in. Compared to trying to sell in Europe or Japan or Australia, selling in America is a lot easier than these countries as a foreigner. Let me know in the comment section below if you're selling in America as a foreigner. And if you have any questions, let us know as well in the comment section below. Until the next one, happy selling.